Hi, Carrie here. So, we have to stop making life easy for our kids. With the best of intentions, we clean up after them, give them what they want when they're melting down, tell them what to do and when to do it. We resolve their conflicts for them, navigate relationships for them, and even confront authority like coaches and teachers and principals on their behalf when we think that they've been wronged in some way. And this list could go on and on. And our ability as parents to justify these behaviors is impressive. I mean, we all love our kiddos, right? We want them to be happy. We want them to experience joy and contentment in life. We don't want them to struggle. We don't want them to be sad or have their feelings hurt ever. We want them to always feel included and important and valued and respected. And I mean, really, these are all a part of our job responsibilities as parents, aren't they? And the answer to all of this is yes. But the problem is, this side of heaven, this is not reality. There will always be disappointments, challenges, fear, loss, hurt feelings. And when we make life too easy for our kiddos, we rob them of the opportunity to develop the skills necessary to tackle these issues themselves. You want proof? Here are 5 skills kids don't learn when we make life a little too easy for them. The first one, kids don't learn how to deal with frustration. They develop very, and I mean very, low frustration tolerances. If their problems are instantly resolved by parents, they don't have to sit in the uncomfortable emotion of frustration and try and resolve it themselves. No one likes to be frustrated. I mean, it's really frustrating. We will all have frustrations in our life and probably on a daily basis. And while we don't have a lot of control over what causes the frustration, we do have control with how we respond to the frustration. How do we learn how to respond to the frustration? We practice. Number 2, kids don't learn how to have realistic expectations in life. When parents make life a little too easy for kids by taking care of and resolving everything for them, kids get the false expectation that everything will always work out in their favor and to their benefit. Like my mama said when I was little and my expectations would get a little misaligned, she would say, "You are in for a rude awakening when reality sets in." And while I didn't like it as a kid, I totally get it now. We have to prepare our children for the disappointment and difficulties that are definitely going to happen in life. And this happens only by exposing them when they're young so they don't realize that life isn't always perfect or the way that we want it to be. But they have the skills to handle anything that comes their way. How empowering is that? Okay, number 3, they don't learn how to focus outward instead of inward. When kids have everything taken care of for them, they're focused inward. Everything resolved becomes about them and how it makes them feel better and how it makes their life easier. They don't learn how to cooperate or compromise or understand how their actions and thoughts affect other people. And as parents, we know we have to be able to cooperate and compromise and understand what we do, think, and say impacts other people. Not being able to do this will negatively affect every aspect of life: relationships, jobs, families, our joy. And all of this can lead to struggles with anxiety and depression and stress. Number 4, they don't learn the value of hard work and effort. If life is made easy for our children, there's no need for them to work at anything. Why would they? Working hard does not come naturally. Our brains, and therefore our bodies, will always seek the easy path in an effort to conserve energy. We will only work hard when we have to. But hard work builds important character traits like resiliency and patience and discipline and integrity. Our children won't develop these skills if everything comes easy to them. Hard work also makes you appreciate things more. Kids are way more invested in things they had to work hard for. Okay, number 5, they don't learn how to be content. We live in a world that declares newer, bigger, better is best. Technology is a great example of this. New technology is constantly coming out. And our kids are inundated with messages about the latest and greatest and how you have to have this. And if we are constantly making life too easy for them and giving in to their requests, they're never going to learn the value of being content. The newness of everything will wear off so quickly when the next latest and greatest thing arrives on the scene. Then the thing that they just couldn't live without soon gets thrown to the side and the attention gets shifted to the next new thing. If kids don't learn how to be content, they are setting themselves up for a lifetime of disappointment by seeking a joy that can never be attained because there's always going to be something newer, faster, better, bigger, prettier. Always. None of that sounds good, right? But it's tricky because what we think is helpful is actually sabotaging our kids for their future. So how do we avoid this? Our perspective really needs to shift from how do I protect them to how do I prepare them? And here's 5 ways we can make life a little harder for our kiddos, but in a good way. Number 1, let them work out their arguments with siblings and friends on their own. By allowing kids to negotiate their own conflicts, they learn important life skills that will help them throughout their life. They'll learn about compromise, negotiation, empathy, and the ability to see things from another person's point of view. Now, sometimes kids need a little guidance. And notice I said guidance, not a takeover, but guidance in how to fight fairly. Hitting, name-calling, saying hurtful things can cause physical harm, but it also causes emotional harm that can't be taken back and should never be tolerated. So I'll do another video about teaching kids how to fight fairly in case this is an issue your kiddos struggle with. And if it is, no worries, because lots of adults struggle with it. So stay tuned. Number 2, give them chores and responsibilities around the house, unpaid. It's okay to pay kids for chores if that's what you choose to do. But I do think there's a ton of value that comes from giving them some responsibilities that are unpaid. Responsibilities just because they're a part of the family and have to contribute to the well-being and functioning of the family. It will teach them that they're a part of something bigger than just themselves and help them realize they weren't created to just consume, but to contribute and help. Number 3, help them or have them volunteer their time. This is probably one of the most important ways we can help kids look beyond themselves and to see how they can use their skills and talents to help others. There are tons of ways kids can volunteer their time. And for little kids too. Help an elderly neighbor mow their lawn or pick up leaves or get their mail or walk their dog or make a meal for a family that needs a little extra help or find a way to help a teacher at school or work in a food pantry or a soup kitchen. Number 4, help them participate in something competitive. And when I say competitive, it doesn't have to be sports. If your child is athletic, awesome. But if they aren't, that's awesome too. There are art competitions, spelling bees, math bees, writing competitions, cooking competitions, Rubik's Cubes, robotics, whatever your child is interested in, I guarantee there's some way for them to be competitive in it. And competitive activities are such a great way to learn and practice the life skills of hard work, determination, goal setting, discipline, cooperation if it's a team sport, mental toughness and perseverance. And probably the most important thing that they'll learn is how to deal with winning and losing, both of which involve skills that don't necessarily come naturally to us. Number 5, let them work through challenges themselves. And this includes the disappointments that come in life, like not winning, not making a team, not making the team you wanted to be on, not getting invited to a birthday party. This can be a hard one for parents because our initial instinct is to protect our children from anything that causes harm or discomfort. And challenges can feel uncomfortable. But when kids are forced to work through challenges and difficult situations, They get to develop problem-solving skills and perseverance and tenacity and acceptance. Not to mention the back end benefits of self esteem, self confidence, and positive self identity by learning that they can work through really hard things. Okay, so I'm popping back in here because I realized that I filmed this video and I almost forgot to add one of the greatest parts of making life a little more difficult for your kiddos. And that is the fact that it will actually make your life a little easier and joyful. So think about it. If your child develops skills to help them navigate relationships and deal with challenges and disappointments, to take responsibility and to start contributing more to your family and others outside of your family, and also learn to be content, well, then those will no longer be battles that you need to take on yourself. And think about that. How much stress and overwhelmingness and anxiety will that take off of you? And then your time and energy is free to spend on your children and family in a way that actually brings you joy. And that's spending intentional time together. That sounds awesome, right? So I just wanted to make sure that I did not forget to share that with you. So the reality is the time we have with our kids is short. Before we know it, they'll be off and trying on their own to navigate life. We're not going to be there to fight their battles for them. And yes, as parents, our instinct is to always protect them and to keep them from anything that causes pain or suffering or discomfort. But I think the way we truly protect them is to prepare them by allowing them to develop the skills necessary to face these challenges that for sure will come. As always, remember, you got this. Want more of this? Let's stay connected. You can subscribe here. Also, make sure to scan the QR code to get weekly-ish visits from me in your email with tools and resources to help you get your kiddos and your family out of survival mode and on their way to thriving. I promise I will only send things I believe will be ultra valuable to you. So I'm so thrilled we got connected, and I can't wait to see you again. Welcome to the Well-Equipped family.